Oh, hello there! Welcome back to the channel. So, Thunderbolts came out recently. I didn't watch it because I don't hate myself anymore. But seeing that they decided to use the character of the Sentry in the film finally gave me the push I needed to learn more about him. I've been tangentially aware of him from other comics like The New Avengers, and what I had read about him sounded pretty cool, but I had never read the miniseries that introduced him until now. And now, as per usual, I am disappointed. After years and years now of watching the writing quality of big-budget superhero movies go downhill and having overpowered Mary Sue self-insert characters shoveled down my throat, I, like many others, noticed some trends. It seemed like any time they made an unstoppably powerful, retroactively super important, and completely infallible plank of wood a character, they were always pushing some sort of socio-political agenda at the same time. And when so-called progressive Hollywood filmmakers want to push race, gender, sexuality, or ethnic or religious background to the forefront, they have to make sure the character they're pushing has absolutely zero flaws, and is also the coolest, most awesome, most powerful character ever. Way better than your lame old boring straight white male superheroes. You know, because that's not incredibly racist or sexist. Well, much to my surprise, way back in the year 2000, Marvel Comics writer Paul Jenkins introduced a character who pretty much stands as the template for the ultra-strong Mary Sue Marvel hero, who is such a self-insert. He was literally inserted into the past of every major Marvel character as a pivotal part of their lives. The Sentry, aka Robert Reynolds, aka Bob, is a middle-aged married man who suffers from depression and substance abuse. He also happens to be the world's greatest superhero, except nobody remembers this fact. He senses that his archenemy, the Void, will soon return, so he has to warn all of his best pals that he totally always had. Reed Richards, Peter Parker, the Hulk, and Warren Worthington, aka Angel. Oh, also some made-up sidekick he had, but nobody cares. Anyway, skipping to the end, Sentry's the Void. He's his own villain. He's so ultra-mega super-duper awesomely powerful that his dark, depressing thoughts have the power to destroy the world. And he had Reed make everybody forget about his existence so that the Void would slip back into his subconscious. They rediscover all of this again in the final issue, and then they make everyone forget again for the greater good. Damn. What a fucking top-tier waste of my fucking time. Now, had this character just stayed amnesic and we never saw him again, I wouldn't have much of a problem with a one-off story about depression and addiction that doesn't even really deal with those ideas in any substantive way, and then never matters again. Unfortunately, Sentry returns in The New Avengers and appears in many Marvel books afterwards and continues to be one of the most overpowered characters in the Marvel Universe, to the point of negating the importance of any other superhero. Here is a list of the Sentry's abilities. I think you get the point. It's a lot. You know how he got these powers? He stole a serum. That's it. A drug. From a bottle. Over-the-counter medicine gave him the power of God. And that was on, like, the second attempt at recreating the super soldier serum? The thing that gave Captain America slightly above average human athletic abilities? No nuclear reactor, no space radiation, no DNA splicing or cybernetics. Nope. They distilled into a chemical formula, and I quote, "the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns."
What? What the fuck?
Wait, hold on a sec. An exploding sun, aka supernova, is 10 to the 44th power in joules. That's about twice the annual energy consumption of Earth. Now times that by 1,000,000.
Yeah, dude, pretty strong, bro. He's so fucking cool. 1,000,000 exploding suns? That's so much more than Superman. He's only powered by, like, one sun.
Fuck off! How do his powers work? another nonsense immeasurable scale, his molecules are 1 second in the future, which somehow makes him God. I don't fucking get it, man. This is childhood playground creativity driven by spite.
No, you didn't hit me because my character is more powerful than the whole solar system.
This is not serious writing. Sentry is not a real character, and I do not acknowledge his existence. But I'm glad I read this book regardless, because it crystallized a point in my mind that I've made many times, as have many others. Overpowered characters who didn't earn their abilities, who have no moral core that makes them heroic, who have unearned retconned backstories that retroactively make them the most important person in an established universe where they don't fit, is almost always bad writing. It doesn't matter what your motivations for crafting that story is. It will always be unsatisfying to the fans who have been following these stories and their continuities for years, with much more strongly written characters, with more limited and understandable abilities. The disagreement across the internet comes in with the modern representation agenda that uses these overpowered characters to wedge their ideas and values into these established universes. Exhibit B, Captain Marvel. I'm referring specifically to the film iteration of the character in the MCU, but from what I've read, it seems like she's pretty much one-to-one with the Kelly Sue DeConnick series that essentially rewrote the hero from the ground up. Or into the ground, depending on your perspective. Carol in this film got her powers from shooting an alien power generator and getting splattered with goo. She did this for no reason, or at least no reason she understood at the time. This made her God. Invulnerable, faster than the speed of light, energy blasts, flight, and a completely unearned sense of entitlement. Or did she have that before? Hard to say because she has amnesia, so everything we learn about her is told to us by other people that knew her before the accident. Carol doesn't seem to have any strong moral qualities. What we get from flashbacks paint a character who is completely driven by spite and resentment towards men who kept her down or told her she was lesser because she's a girl. This film made Carol Danvers, a character I quite enjoyed in the comics from the 90s and early 2000s, a raging, man-hating feminist whose only goal in life is to prove she's better than you. She doesn't want to save lives or do the right thing. She just wants to show the world that women are strong and can do things.
You know, times are changing. Ladies can do stuff now.
This is why she was so poorly received, because not only was she an unpleasant character, not only is she not interesting due to her insane power level, but the film retroactively inserts her into the past before most of the Avengers became heroes, so that she can be the strong, independent woman who did it first. They retcon that the Avengers are named after her, and that she was the inspiration for Nick Fury to want to recruit superheroes to defend the Earth. This was Disney Marvel's attempt to force Carol into being the new lead hero in the MCU to replace Tony Stark when he inevitably dies in Endgame. Fans rejected this immediately because they could tell it was forced. And since then, there has been a plethora of other girl bosses introduced into the MCU in varying shades of black, gay, or Muslim, who are all brilliant, funny, strong, and better than all the boys in every way. But I'm not here to beat the diversity dead horse. I'm here to explain the actual resentment most audiences have for DEI insertions into major franchises. When fans get upset at forced diversity in media, it is not because they are horrible, racist, sexist bigots. Not for the most part, anyway. It's because most of us are already normal humans who believe in equality for all people. We don't need the lecture on being accepting of others who are different, as evidenced by the fact that we are fans of franchises like Marvel Comics that already have a huge stable of racially, sexually, and culturally diverse characters that we all know and love. The diversity was already there, so when we're told the franchise needs even more, we get confused at the contradiction. How is there not already enough? And it's because the creators who are pushing diversity are lying to you. They don't give a shit about representation or diversity. They care about getting paid millions of dollars to make superhero movies because that's what's popular right now, and they want to jump on the bandwagon. The problem is they are neither talented nor interested in the Marvel Universe. So how can they weasel their way into this cash cow? By pulling the race or gender card. What I'm getting at here is that despite what the label on the packaging says, you're still getting the same product. Shitty writing. The difference is now they have to disguise the shitty writing by telling you that they're fighting for social justice and equality with their crappy superhero movies that don't do a damn thing to improve people's lives. They're just mindless entertainment. This is a new modern tactic that people without talent use to get jobs, because now it's not about talent. Now, if you don't hire me or tell me my thing is good, I can call you racist or sexist or homophobic and bash you on Twitter. Now it's become a trend to use diversity as a shield and not even put the effort into the writing because why bother? My character has the right identity. It doesn't matter if they're written well. This annoys good people who aren't bigoted because we're having our character attacked for criticizing shitty writing just like people always have. It's the quality of the story and character writing that has fans upset, not the racial politics. That's something the creators and the activists brought into the conversation. Unfortunately, that has trained fans who have been insulted and berated by the creators to now look for any kind of potentially political messages in the new films that come out and immediately disregard anything that advertises itself based on race, gender, or sexuality. All this is to say, Sentry is the character that made this clear for me. Bob Reynolds is nearly identical to Captain Marvel from the film. An overpowered, bland retcon that destroys the history of the Marvel Universe and makes all the heroes we've come to love obsolete. He is a Mary Sue. He didn't earn his power and he doesn't use it responsibly, and I don't know anything about him that should make me care for him as a character. And this book was written 19 years before the Captain Marvel film. No feminist agenda to push, no racist or sexist deflection, just plain old bad writing. Because Sentry is a straight white male character. There's no physical traits or characteristics to hide behind or use to deflect criticism of how he's written, because nobody thought straight white American males were oppressed or marginalized back then, and they don't think it now. Bob is just a bad character. Like Carol, like Shuri, like Riri, like Gaia, like all the DEI characters in Marvel, they're just badly written. And now I have a prime go-to example for when somebody tries to say that fans just hate women and minorities. That straight white male characters can be badly written too. It was never about race, gender, sexuality, ethnicity, or religion. It was about the quality of the writing.